Morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. I hope you had a nice cup of coffee this morning. If you guys know France and me, you will know that we love our coffee and we love the good stuff. And you can go to the shop to buy coffee and there's all sorts. So you guys know this stuff. Coffee can be classified as coffee. And I have a tin here of illy, which is the good stuff, which is much more expensive than the coffee. But if you go somewhere and somebody offers you a cup of coffee, if you go to someone's house, you actually don't know what you're going to get, right? Unless you know the people. So if anyone knows France and me, you know when you come to our house, you're going to get a good, proper cup of coffee. And there's a big difference between the coffee and the illy. Why is the illy so much more expensive than the coffee? Well, the answer is it's more pure. It's less diluted. It hasn't been processed so much and it hasn't had stuff added to it. It's like the pure coffee bean. Here we see a coffee bean, right? So when I buy this tin of illy, you can hear it. It's full of the coffee beans. So I don't just take this bean and chuck it into a cup and pour hot water on it. There's a process that has to happen, right? I have to put it in a grinder. It has to be pressed down. It has to be tampered. It needs to be put into the machine. The machine needs to be at the right temperature, and hot water needs to be pushed through it to get the good stuff out of the end. And this got me thinking, it's as children of God, we have choices to make. Okay? Do we want the good stuff? The good stuff that God has for us. But the good stuff comes at a price. It is more expensive than the cheap stuff. And I want to read to us today from Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 30 verse 15 and 16 says, "See, I set before you today life and prosperity, death and destruction. For I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and to keep his commands. Then you will live and increase and the Lord will bless you." So if we want the good stuff that God has for us, the price that we have to pay is that we need to walk in his ways. And sometimes it's quite a tough price to pay sometimes. Especially, you guys, you might have friends that are a bad influence on you. Maybe they're leading you down the wrong path. Maybe, and they're doing stuff that is not pleasing to God. I just want to encourage you today that if you want the good stuff that God has got for you, you're going to have to learn to walk in his ways. And when we do that, it comes with just such blessing in our lives. And the Lord said that if we choose his ways, it's life and prosperity. So we decide, okay, we're going to have the good stuff and we're going to choose God's ways. And then what happens? Life happens. Disappointments come. Things happen that are totally out of our control. Things like this coronavirus. And, and we think, sure, God, this is crazy. I mean, and the disappointments that come with it. I was thinking about the matrics. You guys, your whole school career is just supposed to come to this pinnacle in matric, and it's supposed to be in such an amazing year, and maybe you've worked hard to be on the first team in the hockey or the netball or whatever, or rugby, and this was something you were so excited about, and now everything is just fallen away. And the disappointment, I can just imagine, it must be a terrible disappointment. But I want to encourage you guys that even though there's so much disappointment going on, if you choose, like God says, if you choose life and if you choose his way, in amongst the disappointments, in amongst the heartache, God can still make something good of it. And I want to read to you from Romans 8 verse 28. God will make something good out of this. Romans 8:28. "In all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." So you know what? God, in amongst all of this and in amongst the disappointment you might be experiencing right now, he can make some good. He can make this like the springboard to the most amazing time of your life. How does God do it? I don't know. God is God. He works in ways that we don't understand. But if we submit to him, and if we trust him, and if we say, yes, God, I choose life, and I want the good stuff. Yes, it's going to cost me, but I'd rather pay more and have the good stuff than settle for the cheap stuff that's no good, that's going to lead to destruction. So I want to encourage you, choose life, and when you do that, God will work for your good in the situation. God is able to do it, and God will do it. And I just encourage you today to submit to him and let him just see how he's going to work in your life, and he is going to do amazing things. And yeah, so encourage you guys, choose the good stuff. We will catch up with you later in the week. Hope you guys are feeling encouraged. Thanks. Bye.